Hi everybody, today we are going to paint some expressive hands. They are going to be minimalist, very simple and very easy to paint, okay? This is simpler than portraits, yet it is a wonderful way to express and represent ideas, memories, emotions. To start, drawing hands like the ones that we'll be painting, it's very easy because you have the perfect models right in front of you, literally. If you're not used to or don't feel comfortable with realistic portraits, this is a way to express yourself without worrying about realism. Because once again, there is far more to art than simply replicating nature. You don't need realism to express how you feel or to share how you see the world. And if you want to add movement or refine the shapes, all you need to do is sketch the basic flow of the fingers and then you refine your drawing. It's all very simple. So now that we are ready, we can start painting. Let's see if we can tell a story or if we can create a little narrative just by using minimalist hands. Before we begin, my apologies for the sideways painting. It is simply easier for me to work this way because it allows me to feel more of the screen and you can see more of the details and better. Okay, so the first piece is very basic, just a hand with some decorative details inside. This first one is simply a warm up to help us feel more comfortable before moving on to more elaborated compositions, okay? As for the colors, this darker color here is a mix of burnt umber, blue, and a small hint of black. And the pale color that you see here, this pale cream, it is white and contains the same burnt amber and the same blue. So the colors blend nicely together because they are kind of part of the same family. For the floral details, I'm using the same technique we used several times before in our botanical paintings. So if you'd like to learn more about those, please check out our videos dedicated to that subject, okay? For the second piece, we'll add more expression. It's going to be like two hands suggesting a hug. I'm using colored paper here and painting over it to add extra texture. I'm still using the same two shades, okay? A very dark umber and a much lighter tint of the same color that is this creamy white that you see here. This particular composition here inspired by the movie poster for The Lobster. It's a very fine movie if you haven't seen it. There is so much poetry in that image. The way that the artist showed only the person giving the hug. without showing anything else, not even the one being hugged. So it's absolutely beautiful work. By the way, if you notice something in my ear, please ignore it. I cut it earlier today, and that's a balm that I applied on to stop it from bleeding. So nothing to worry about, but anyway. Next, I wanted to paint a little bird perched on a hand. So this one will use some overlapping. The fingers will cross over the palm. To achieve this while keeping the minimalist aesthetics, I change the value of the paint, keeping it flat and mostly monochromatic, but adjusting the shade so that the part behind is lighter and the part in front is more intense. It's a very subtle thing, but it really gives enough contrast to make our composition work, okay? The parts we want to appear further back should be in a different value from the elements in front. They cannot be of the same lightness or darkness, otherwise, the shapes will be lost. Even a subtle contrast is enough to make the design effective. You may have noticed that I accidentally added an extra finger, which I corrected once the painted was dry. And my apologies for my voice. It's cracking a little bit because I don't know, it's too hot in here, it's too dry, and it makes talking a little bit difficult. Okay, my apologies. For our next piece, we'll add the color to the background using a sponge. It's the same technique that we've used several times before, okay? It's simple, it's quick, and it gives a smoother texture compared to when we use the brush. Initially, I thought about keeping it monochromatic, but I decided to add color to the flowers for a fresher look. The composition is still flat, it is still simple, and it is still easy to follow. For more on painting botanical elements, please take the time to check out our videos on that topic. For the leaves, I simply use a flat brush, pressing for thickness and lifting for thinness. It's very simple. And the only key thing is to keep the part of the leaf that touches the stem thin. It makes the design more elegant. After finishing, I regretted using this pinkish shade. I should have stuck to my usual yellow ochre, but if you want the same pink, however, it is made from the cream color of the background for harmony, mixed with magenta with a hint of the same umber. It is the same burnt umber that is also in the greens and in the background cream. Adding a shared color to all elements creates cohesion and makes the palette feel unified. If I had used pure magenta or pure green, the colors wouldn't have blended as well visually, okay? Our next one is going to be a hand holding a flower. We will once again be overlapping shapes, just like we did with the one with the bird. One thing I hope you remember, I don't expect you to paint exactly what I paint, or at least I hope you don't, because everything I show here in these exercises is simply to demonstrate what is possible to do even with very basic art training, okay? You can still create something visually striking and appealing. But if copying my compositions helps you learn, that's fine, okay. But I do encourage you to see them just as starting points and create your own designs. For these pieces, we've used the same techniques from earlier lessons, like from flat bodies or flat botanicals or flat animals. So everything that we are doing here today, we have already done before. We're just finding ways to use the same technique to create something different, something new. And that's the spirit I want to bring to you. Many of you suggest themes and subjects like botanicals or stylized, nautical, and many more. And I'm taking notes. We will cover all requests eventually. However, my point is if there is something specific you love, like a dog breed that we haven't painted yet, or even another animal, or some kind of portraits, or anything, why not try the techniques that you are seeing here and apply that to what you want to see painted? That's the spirit, okay? What I want you to take away from these exercises is the knowledge that even with limited drawing or painting skills, you can create something beautiful and meaningful. And that comes from understanding your abilities, having some minimal understanding of composition, of color, and adding intention. If your flower is jagged, make it intentionally so, not just because it came out that way by accident. Turn your perceived limitations into part of your style. Of course, you can always improve and learn more. And I do encourage you to evolve, develop your skills, create something new, try, experiment, fail because failure will also teach you something. But don't let what you think to be your limitations hold you back. Okay? When that one was finished, I did a few small retouches, and I think this one might be my favorite from this batch. I was a little bit unsure about including this one because I shouldn't have used red paper because it made the scene far more intense than I envisioned. Still, I decided to share it because it is still a interesting composition with plenty of expression. I tried to soften the red by adding cream to in the background, but I should have covered it a little bit more, maybe completely, because as it is, the red still shows through, intensifying the mood. Nonetheless, I like the composition. There is a strong message there. I just think that the red makes it a little bit more intense. So these are the results of what we've done today. I hope you've learned something new. And depending on the response to this video, I have two more body part themed tutorials I would love to share, but I need first to see how you react to this one, okay? As always, keep on practicing and thank you for joining us.